All right, welcome back to the Higher Genius podcast. So this is part two of a 5-part series. So if you haven't listened to part one, I encourage you to go back and do so because it'll give this next episode some context. And I feel like you'll learn a lot from it as well. So what we're going to be doing in this particular episode is we're going to be going through the signs that you're going through a massive shift or an up level. So I recently went through the story behind my massive shift and reinvention on the last episode. And I feel like a lot of my clients are going through this same thing. It's like this massive shift in their identities, their careers, and up level on all levels. And so what are the signs that you could be going through this shift or an up level? It could be any or all of these things. I mean, it could even be one of these things. So the first sign would be boredom or dissatisfaction with your business or your life, despite having manifested your ideal results. It could be campaigns and launches are not performing like they used to. It could be that opportunities or incomes drying up. It could be that friends who you used to love and adore are just not resonating with you anymore. It could be that you're losing interest in things that once brought you joy. You could be looking to do something new in your career, even though you might not even be sure what that means or what that looks like. And you're wondering, what's next for me? Maybe you're even looking at like, I've achieved so much. What do I even do now with my life? How do I up level? How do I get to the next level? Because let's face it, you might be bored. You could be feeling blocked or stuck. You could have a lot of unfinished projects, and you could be feeling really unsteady from a major life upheaval, like a death or a divorce or a financial crisis. And you could even be feeling shaken after going through a spiritual awakening, a religious trauma, or a faith transition. So a lot of these are signs and symptoms that we also looked at during 2020, during the massive upheaval of 2020. So whether or not you've experienced this before or after 2020, like a lot of us are experiencing the same thing. So you're not alone. And I feel like the effects of 2020 and that upheaval will be felt for years. I feel like we'll be unpacking and healing and shifting from that for years to come. So in my case, this shift started around 2016. So it was a little ahead of the curve, about 4 years before 2020. So, and that actually, I had a major shift as well in 2006, so 10 years prior, which was also ahead of the major recession we had in 2008 through 2010 with the housing market and real estate. And so I felt like that particular instance helped me really learn some valuable lessons, whether they were financial, business, leadership lessons. And so I learned those things ahead of the curve, hopefully, so I could help the people in the following years when we were going through that worldwide crisis. And so this most recent shift was very similar from that. And it was in the fact that it was ahead of the curve, but it was really unique and different than any other life-altering event that I had been through to that point. I mean, it shook me to my core, my absolute core. Like, you know how snakes shed their skin? Like, I feel like I did that so many times between 2016 to last year. I finally feel like I'm out of it, but it took a while, and it doesn't need to take that long. I can be independent. I can be a little stubborn. I can want to do things my way instead of, surrendering to the universe and to my lessons sometimes and learning how to do it the easy way. So that's why I wanted to create this roadmap to show you the quote easier way. Not that it's easy by any stretch of the imagination, but if you can surrender to these changes as opposed to resisting them or facing them in ignorance, I feel like knowledge is power in this instance. Like, I just wished when I was going through this that someone realized what I was going through and could help me. Like, in some ways, I felt so embarrassed or so ashamed that, I was supposed to have things together. Like, that was what I was portraying to the world. So why would I go looking for help when I was trying to maintain this facade that all is well and I'm fine and I can handle it myself? And I just wish I had some kind of roadmap like this that could really show me, okay, what's coming up? What's good for me to do now? What's coming up after this? How can I prepare myself? How can I go through this situation with the most grace, ease, and flow that I can? So that's why I've created this roadmap, and I'll be going through phases 1 through 4 in the next 4 episodes. So, yeah, I made a lot of missteps along the way, shall we say. I learned a lot of lessons, and I'm definitely someone who identifies patterns and trends very easily. So when I went through this, and it felt like the universe was also delivering me to clients that were going through the previous step I had just been through, so they could really so the universe could, and my guides, my spirit guides could really hammer it home. Like, this is a thing. This wasn't just happenstance that you went through this, Christy. Like, they're going through the same thing you just went through. So it's like every step of the way, it happened like that. It was like clients would show up, and I had just, even if it was only 6 months prior, I had just gone through that, and I could help them. I feel like so much better because I wasn't going through it myself. Like, I had gone through it, learned the things, and I was able to guide them that much better. So anyway, I have this metaphor of a butterfly, and I chose the butterfly because really you could apply this to nature. We have seasons of our lives. We have seasons in nature. And I chose the butterfly because it's like a very specific metamorphosis. There's only a couple of creatures like this that go through an amazing metamorphosis where they're unrecognizable at the end from where they were at the beginning. And so a butterfly does not fight their metamorphosis. They just don't. They can't fight their nature. And I don't know why as humans we want to fight our own nature, but let's dive in to the 4 stages of an up level. This will be stage 1. And again, follow along with me in the next episodes where I present the next stages. So you can not only identify where you are, but you can also see some of the people in your life, whether they're your clients or your loved ones. And you can easily see where someone's at. And, if you want to help them, of course, don't, help people unsolicited. That's annoying. But, if people come to you and they ask for help, like, you can at least either send them to these episodes or to my website. I also have a written version of this on my blog, christyturley.com. And I just want to help people. I want to help people get through this. And whether that's by helping you so that you can help other people, or whether that's, you're forwarding stuff along, whatever it is, I just really hope and pray that this information helps people. So the caterpillar. Okay, we're at step 1. I call it return. And all of these words that I have chosen for each of the stages, they all start with R. So I love alliteration. I love puns. I love wordplay and language. So I had to. So the caterpillar, after a lifetime of consuming leaves, they feel a shift internally. And what I've read scientifically is there's these things called imaginal cells that start to show up in their body. And these are the cells that are responsible for the metamorphosis. Well, they can't fight it. Soon enough, these imaginal cells take over the entire caterpillar's body and triggers the innate instinct for the caterpillar to go make a cocoon. And this instinct is driven by timing. So this is all divine timing. If you find yourself in this step or any of the other steps for that matter, it is divine timing. And the emotions that someone could feel in this particular stage is boredom, dissatisfaction, frustration, feeling blocked or stuck, unfulfilled, self-doubt, or just wanting to fit in and be accepted by others. They can feel restlessness or dissatisfaction with the way things are going, exhaustion from running or working so hard. And it's like the caterpillar. At first, they may not even be sensitive to the fact that there's been a change. So just like the caterpillar, they may not realize that these imaginal cells are starting to take over their body, which is going to trigger the metamorphosis into a butterfly. We as humans may not be sensitive to the fact that we are actually headed into a metamorphosis ourselves, a complete uplevel, a complete rebirth. And so the cost of staying here, the cost of staying a caterpillar and not building a cocoon is exhaustion. It's burnout. It's hiding from the limelight or continuing to work behind the scenes. Your prosperity, whether that's material, whether that's spiritual, whether it's like relationships or opportunities, that can start to dwindle. It can start to weaken. It can cause resentment. It can cause bitterness and frustration. So how did you get here in the first place? Like, we all know how a caterpillar got there, right? But how did you get here? So it could be anything. And this is not to place blame, because this is, again, a timing thing. And it's totally a human thing. So it's about ignoring your secret dreams and wishes or your passions, things that you've always wanted to do or things that you wanted to bring out into the world. It could be because of a shift in business, career. It could be because previous tools and tactics stopped working. It could be because you're seeing a decline in your profits or your productivity. Again, you didn't really do anything to be here. This is because it's time. This is a natural season of humanity, and we repeat these cycles over and over. So I bet if you looked back on your life, you could probably identify with some thought, maybe some meditation, but you could identify, where you've felt this feeling before, and then play out over the next few years what actually happened. So the common missteps, the common things that people do that are probably not the best things to do, ask me how I know, are as follows. So you can go back to old patterns. You can try to reverse out of the cocoon, reverse punch out of that cocoon. You could choose against your higher knowing, your true self. You could resist the flow of life, let's just throw more money at the problem or whatever. You can try to force things to happen, continue to go. Maybe you just need to work harder. You could even fantasize or think about how you can get back to where you were. And you can ignore problems that need to be solved. So my story in this stage is, I remember this was 2017, this last time that this happened to me. Again, it's a cycle. It can repeat over and over. So, and it's always different. Every time it repeats, it's always different. You're always up leveling. It's like an upward spiral. So don't worry. It's not like, oh, great, I'm back to square one. No. That's not how it is at all. It's like you passed a level on your video game, you cleared the level, and now you're on a new level, but you still have to face the Koopa at the castle at the end of the level. I love Super Mario as a kid. So anyway, so I had this business with my husband, and I remember there was this 1 month we had been working to increase our rankings on Amazon. We had an e-commerce store, and I remember there was this 1 month where we did 70 grand on Amazon alone. It was all of a sudden we got in this jet stream, where we were just getting these organic sales. Like our strategies, our marketing strategies were paying off. We were able to increase our rankings by increasing sales and reviews. And we were like in this magic spot of being in the jet stream where we just showed up for top keywords and people would just buy organically. It was just like printing money. It was amazing. And I remember that this continued. And then all of a sudden it was like, it stopped. And we're like, what the heck? Like, we're doing exactly what we've always done. This is a system now. This is not supposed to happen. Like, systems are supposed to always work. There was no outside external market conditions that changed. There was not like a new competitor that we could identify. There was no sort of outside sabotage or anything like that. Like, we're just like, what the heck? So this actually, like 6 months after we had this amazing month, and that was just our Amazon business. That wasn't even our marketing services business. Like, life was good. Like, business was good. We're just like, this doesn't make sense. And so we actually tried to like do a lot more things to get back into that jet stream, like what all the gurus were saying. And it didn't really work. It kind of worked. And I remember there was this one day that we got up to like number 3 for like a major keyword on Amazon. And so we should have been getting like tons of organic sales like we had that other month. And it was like, well, this is a house of cards. What the heck? Like, so we actually just started shutting stuff down. Like, we just could not finance that type of activity without the return, which seemed to defy logic. Mathematically, statistically defied logic. And we started selling off our inventory. And this was very difficult because this was a business that I looked at as kind of like our plan B, like our road to freedom. Like, we had been approached by Shark Tank, not the other way around. Like, we were going places. We were doing wholesale deals. Like, there were so many things that we had in the pipeline, and it just was not working anymore. So what do I wish I would have done? And what have I identified would be constructive business actions to do in this situation? Well, I'll tell you. It would be to set new intentions for the future, to set new boundaries. What will you accept? What will you tolerate? What won't you? Ask yourself this, or tell yourself this, whichever makes more sense. What is it that you're tolerating in your business right now? Your result, your environment is a product of what you're tolerating. So that's like a really great contemplation question. Some other constructive actions that you can do if you find yourself in this phase would be to embrace your desires, like go for those passions, things you've always wanted to do. Make way for what you do want. So clear out the clutter, make space for what you do want, and don't make any firm decisions in this step. No huge financial decisions, real estate decisions, anything like that. This is kind of a shaky time. All right. So focus on building up your internal resources with self-care. So not so much about the external resources, like this is not the time to go gangbusters with your business. Save that for later. This is more of like a fall, autumn phase of your business as opposed to like a summer. So focus on building up your internal resources again, and with some self-care practices. And if you don't know what that means, you can head over to my blog and get some ideas about what self-care is. You're going to want to also stay visible and consistent, even though with social media and emails, you might have a desire to pull in and just want to be a hermit, but use this opportunity to tell stories and take people on a journey, because more often than not, people will resonate, or they will see your strength and it will give them strength, or it will give them permission to not be okay, Take shelter by really replenishing your inner resources. So again, this is like the second time I've mentioned it because it is so important to fill your cup with self-care, with active self-care, like asking yourself, what do I need right now? What do I need in this moment? Do I need to reschedule these meetings? Do I need to like not feel like I have to power through? Do I need to just take a nap? Like, be very compassionate with yourself. Incubate any ideas for the future. Just don't act on them quite yet. Just put them on a shelf for now. You can streamline your business. You can remove any non-essentials, and definitely protect yourself from any less than positive outside forces. That means friends, family, media, even if you need to have a little social media fast, like those are good time, that's a good time to do it. Reduce your time spent on the news, especially. Like, I hardly even watch the news anymore. I don't watch it. I'll look for headlines and that's pretty much it, just so I can keep up with what's going on. But I don't consume it like I used to. Same with social media. Like, you can actually unfollow and unfriend people. A lot of people don't remember that. You can even mute someone for 30 days. Like, do all of that if you feel. Clear your physical clutter. So it's a good time to organize your house, get rid of anything that you don't need anymore. And by get rid of, I mean sell it or donate it. And then just take care of the details. Like, this is a refining time. So how exactly do you up level if you're in this stage? Like, how do you get to the next stage? And these are going to be tips for how do you do it like faster, Again, like, I love this quote. You've probably heard me say it many times. It's a military saying, slow is smooth and smooth is fast. That means that you can slow down to speed up your growth. As another saying, I've kind of taken that military saying and made it my own. Slow down and you can speed up your growth, or speed up your growth by slowing down and tuning in to your intuition. And so I would recommend quiet contemplation, journaling, a mindfulness practice, a meditation practice, maybe getting out into nature and taking walks, doing like walking meditations, flowing with what is, accepting what is, not how you wish it would be or how you don't want it to be this way, but accept what is and flow with it instead of fighting with it. Surrender to it. Don't give up. That's not what surrender means. It just means accepting it. Surrender to it. Much like the caterpillar surrenders to its imaginal cells in the cocoon and it becomes the butterfly. Look at what you've been procrastinating. Accept responsibility for where you're at. Whatever has happened in your life, just accept it. Accept the responsibility for it. Even if someone else is to blame, everyone, like two to tango, right? Everyone has a part in anything that happens in life. Life can be a mirror. It can be reflecting back to you something that needs to be healed within you. If you don't like someone, well, it could be that they're projecting something back or reflecting back to you, something that you need to look at in yourself, and I want you to find your inner magic. I want you to, the most helpful thing for me was to really contemplate on what is my genius? Like, who am I really? And this is all to help you return to your true self. Your true self being that butterfly. Your true self is not the caterpillar. It is the butterfly. So asking, who am I, is so important for this stage. So I love music. I feel like music is so healing. I grew up playing the piano, later learned to play the flute, and music has brought me so much comfort. So I have a song for you that describes this stage perfectly, I feel like. I'm sure there's other songs, but I really like this song. It's called Lost at Sea, and it's by Zedd, Z-E-D-D, and it features Ryan Tedder. If you're familiar with One Republic, Ryan Tedder is the lead singer, and I just think he's a fantastic songwriter. Anyway, that is an amazing song to listen to and just kind of get in the mode and the energy of this particular phase. And I would love to invite you that I have a couple of resources for you that I have created from my heart, from my soul, to help people develop their intuition. Because I feel like when you develop your intuition, again, it's a muscle that you can strengthen. You can become more connected to yourself. And when you're more connected to yourself, you become more in tune with your purpose, why you're here, your message, your business, other people, your clients, your friends, your family. Like, all in all, like, that is the secret key. Like, I feel like, I've studied a lot of wisdom teachers, Jesus, Buddha, the Tao Te Ching. I love Lao Tzu's work. And, Jesus taught that the kingdom of heaven is at hand. And a lot of people thought that meant like the end of the world or whatever. But really what I think he was saying is it's within, that your kingdom, your treasure is within. And so to that end, my book that I published, The Intuition-Led Business, is available on Amazon. There's a free chapter available on my website. You can go check it out, intuitionledbusiness.com. There's also free bonuses when you buy the book that you can register for on that web page, and I'll put it in the show notes, intuitionledbusiness.com. And then I have an exciting online curriculum, where you can learn how to really apply these things to your business, to apply not only developing your intuition, understanding how you can do that and practicing, but also like how to apply it to your business. And that is called Intuition Upgrade. It's a 10-week curriculum, and it's opening up enrollment soon. So you'll want to get on the wait list. It's at intuitionupgrade.com. So join me on the next episode, where we'll go through the second phase. Actually, there's a mini phase as well. So we're going to go through stage 2A and 2B, as I call it, the realign and rebirth phase. And that'll be on the next episode. I'll see you soon.
I hope you loved today's episode. And if you did, please subscribe and leave a like, comment, and/or review. Every interaction, whether on YouTube or your favorite podcast platform, helps this podcast to reach more people like you. Thank you for tuning in to the Higher Genius Podcast.